And COVID has been really difficult, especially difficult for self-employed people. And good news is, though, there are some credits that you can take on your 2020 tax return. You had said that there's 2 new credits. Maybe you can walk us through those.
So under the Families First Coronavirus Response Act, there are 2 credits, as you said. So one is the qualified sick leave credit, and the other one is the qualified family leave credit. And so those credits are specifically for self-employed if they've been impacted by coronavirus or they're taking care of a family member that has been impacted.
So this is small business owners, this is sole proprietors. I mean, this is anyone basically that is running their own business, no matter how big or small.
Right. It's self-employed, small business owners. Even if you work a side gig, you may qualify if you've been impacted.
And that's interesting, right? Because I could have a full-time job and a side gig and I still might qualify. Thankfully, though, you guys have this great calculator, right, that can help people walk through this.
Yes, it helps you easily figure out what these credits are because the credits are based on the amount of days of work you missed and your average daily self-employment income. So it just helps you easily figure out the calculation. For instance, if you have the qualified sick leave, you're capped at a certain amount of days. And then the same on the qualified family leave, there's a different amount of days where there's a cap. So it just helps you easily figure this out.
Yeah, and look, a lot of people had to take time away from their jobs to care for loved ones, whether they were elderly, whether they were kids, who knows? It was not easy in the beginning to figure all this out. So at least they have these credits to think about and when they start to think about preparing their tax returns for next year. And Lisa, this stuff is really important because this could affect my fourth quarter estimated tax payment, right?
Right. It's very important for self-employed to know about these credits. And a lot of them don't know about these credits at all. So if you're aware of these credits that you're going to get when you file your 2020 taxes, you can keep some money in your pocket now when you go to make your fourth quarter estimates. Because if you're aware of the amount of the credit, then you can hold back on some of your estimated tax payment.
Now, the big question I'm sure a lot of people have is this home office deduction. It's always so sketchy, right? Do I qualify? Do I not qualify? If I'm self-employed and I'm a small business owner and I'm running a business out of my house, do I qualify for the home office deduction?
That is a big question we're seeing with so many people working from home right now. So the one thing you need to know is if you're self-employed and you have a dedicated office for your business, then you can deduct the home office expenses. So it can't be your kitchen table where your kids and your family eat and do their homework. It has to be a dedicated office space. And then the second thing, we're seeing a lot of employees, they're wondering, can I deduct my home office expenses? And as of tax reform, you can no longer deduct unreimbursed employee expenses. So generally only self-employed can deduct home expenses.
Right, because so many of us are working from our home office, but because we have an actual office somewhere else, even though we haven't seen it in a really long time, we cannot take the home office deduction as a self-employed person would.
Exactly. Yes.
I mean, I get it though, right? Because then you start to think, well, can I deduct house expenses and part of my electric bill? And you go through all this stuff because you have truly been using it probably, much more than were you going to an office as a full-time employee. But sadly, you're saying we can't deduct any of that stuff.
Yeah, on a federal level. So on your federal taxes, I should clarify, you cannot deduct that. Some states are allowing you to deduct unreimbursed employee expenses, but it's a state by state basis.
And so in that case, then, do you go through your house expenses and you take a portion that's allocated to the office?
On your state tax return, yes, you would be able to possibly deduct your home office deduction expenses if your state allows that.
So so bottom line is it matters if you have another office somewhere else, even though you're not going to it. And you really should take advantage of the calculators because between the home office and all the 2 new credits, these are difficult to kind of figure out on your own. So people should definitely check out the site and use the calculators.
Right. Yes. And TurboTax easily walks you through, if you're self-employed, TurboTax self-employed easily walks you through your tax return. And then you can also connect live via one-way video to our TurboTax Live CPAs and enrolled agent. And then new this year, we have our TurboTax Live full service, so you can completely hand off your taxes to a TurboTax Live CPA and enrolled agent and get your taxes done.
And still not have to leave your house.
In the comfort of your home, exactly.
That's fantastic. It's one less thing to think about. All right, Lisa Green Lewis with TurboTax, thank you so much for all this. I know tons of people are going to have questions about, can I deduct my home office? I'm self-employed. Is anybody out there helping me? And we got some great answers today. Thank you again.